Okay, we are live now. I am Edu Ribeiro. We are live in the Open Studio Drum Conversation today, February 10, and I am in São Paulo. And we have this amazing drummer, one of my preferred drummers and the musicians in the world. And people, please clap your hands to Jorge Rossy. Hey, Jorge, how are you, brother?
So happy to be interviewed. It's an honor to be interviewed by you. But such an incredible drummer too, Edu. I'm a fan. Man. For the first time I heard you guys, it was incredible. Man.
Oh man, I'm a huge fan. And if you start to talking about that, I remember the first time that a friend bring me that trio with Brad, and I think it was with your brother. And
okay, so
and was something so different because I was accustomed with the jazz trio, American jazz trio, and but was so open. It was so organic. The music, and there was a good interaction between the musicians that was amazing. And I was captured with that sound at the first time.
Oh man! Well, when I heard Trio Corrente, I remember still this incredible arrangement of the girl from Ipanema, a beautiful tune that has been so abused so many times, and you treated with so much love and imagination. It was really unforgettable, man. And then when I heard you guys live, wow,
that was Fabio and Paulo, and they told me a lot about because I think they tour a lot with Rosa, and they met you in the road, and man, much love, man.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you for being here. My honor.
My pleasure.
Thank you. And let me ask something for you. Are you from Spain? Is that
from Barcelona? There is Barcelona, which is Catalonia, which according to some people is Spain, and according to some Catalans is not. Me personally, I couldn't care less.
Okay.
So our planet is already small and complicated and fragile enough to be worrying about little sections of it and how to divide it. I prefer to solve real problems, So anyway.
But my first question is, if you are from Spain, how is your interaction with Brad and Larry and this music from US? Have you lived in US sometime? How about that?
Yeah. I moved to the US when I was nearly 25 years old in '89.
Maybe 2 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's incredible. No, when I was 16, I had this teacher, Alvaro Is. He was a piano and harmony teacher, and he was living in Sweden, but he's one of the first Spanish guys who had studied in Berkeley. And he put it in my head and in my brother's head, like, you guys have to get out of Spain. If you love jazz is the music. Jazz music was born in the US and so you need to know that, and you need to go there. And so since I was 16, I had it in my head. So finally, at 24, I made a move, and then I moved to Boston for about more or less 1 year. Yeah. And then after that to New York, and I spent in New York about 10 years, more or less, and then went back to Europe.
Yeah, great. And how about you start with music? You just told that your brother is a bass player too, and you are telling me about your sister Mercedes that I want to talk about. But how is the music in your family in childhood? When you start with music?
Yeah, well, I guess always, because it's true. I mean, my family music has been there for several generations. My father is not a musician by profession, but he started playing a little accordion when he was 3 years old, and he plays piano and guitar and he plays by ear completely. So he has really amazing ears. So he plays all kinds of music. He never improvises. He doesn't like jazz at all. But he knows many standards, So he's kind of like piano bar style, He never studied, but whenever he likes a melody or he is somewhere in his head, something puts together a piano arrangement of it, and then he just goes to the piano and plays it. He never practices it slower, so he just goes there and comes like a piano arrangement. And he changes key here and there, and it's always kind of the same medium tempo, very bourgeois. But yeah. And his father played violin, and my grandfather in my father's side, Hipólito, he was a violin player, but also he wrote one of the first books about flamenco music. He was an aficionado of flamenco music, a musicologist. So yeah, music has been a few generations.
What's the name of your grandfather?
Hipólito Rossy. Yeah, es un nombre bien extraño. It's a very strange name. Very Greek name, no? No, it's a Greek name. No? Hipólito. Hipólito.
Great. And I heard that you have a son that plays trumpet.
Yeah. Because I played trumpet for 10 years too, but I quit. Trumpet is too tough. So I started playing trumpet at 16, and at 26 I surrendered. I was like, okay, you win. I quit. But then the trumpet, the trumpet won the first battle, but Felix won the war. Because 10 years after, actually not even 10 years. I guess it was about 10 years. After 26, 27, I quit. And then when I was 30, Felix was born. And when Felix was 7 years old, he picked up the trumpet after sleeping for 10 years. And he started playing it. And he can really play.
His name is Felix.
Felix. Felix in English, Felix en español.
Felix in português, Felix. Aqui é Felix. Here is Felix.
Felix, igual que en España.
And is he living in Barcelona?
In Barcelona, yes.
Okay. And where are you living now?
I'm living in Basilea. This is a city.
In Basel.
Basel.
Are you teaching that school?
Yeah, that's where I met Vinicius. The guitar player you are recording today with. He's the amazing musician, and other great musicians. Fabio Gouveia. I love
the guitar player
him too. Yeah,
and Paulo Almeida, the drummer, is here too.
Oh, Paulinho. Oh, don't even start. I love him, man. The first time I heard them too. I heard them together. When they came here. Paulinho, man, he's just crazy, but Fabio too, as a composer too. I really want to play with them. I mean, with Fabio, I'm starting to play sometimes, playing vibes with him and with Charlie Ross, a great French saxophone player. But I wanna play some tunes with at least some tunes, and if not, as much as possible with Paulo too. I love him.
And Paulo is a great composer too.
Yeah, Paulo, I know. I heard some compositions of him.
And you are a huge influence for me and for this that new generation, for my generation. I think we have the same age, but it's a huge influence because he's a drummer that plays piano and plays vibraphone and is a multi-instrumentist, and that is something is not new for the drummers because of different people, but is a different perspective to play drums, and I can hear that when I heard you playing, especially the first things that I heard with Brad, but when I hear you playing in this trio, the sensation that I have that you are all the time listen the musician, listen the piano player, but more than the drummers that don't play piano and don't play a different instrument, you are understanding what the piano player is doing, is trying to do, with the ways that he's taking to play, and it makes my sensation that you are playing drums, but every time you are making the other musician playing better, making something that's is incredible. And I have a question about that, because your dynamic sense playing with you are listening all the time. There is difference for you to play that live in a bar or in a theater or in a studio, because I remember that seeing you playing live, you play with less monitors and that thing. But how about the studios? You change your sound. How you manage that, the difference, the sounds between the situations?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. But yeah, basically, I think I manage it always the same way by doing always different. Basically, what I mean is that every day or even every song in every room sounds different, and every moment. So just really, I always approach it the same way, with just by completely by ear. By I realize that I have to build the sound from zero every day. That's probably one of the reasons why I never practice. Because if you practice, you get used to certain sound and to certain touch and certain way, and then that gets against you, because then it's hard to let go of that, because that's your comfort zone. But what sounds good in your room when you're playing alone, it's not going to necessarily sound good in the room where you're playing today. So I think in some ways, when I really stopped practicing the drums, something happened that I started to sound much better, because I felt that all I could do was just that. It's like to play the moment, and since I don't have that many chops or things that I've been working on, all I can do is just try to make a good sound and try to make this thing happen. Try to make sure that everybody in the band have what they need from me, if it's tempo or clarity or energy or space or to shut up. Just make sure that they get from me whatever they need, that the audience gets from me whatever I can give them in order to keep them excited and entertained, and do that in the easiest way possible, because just to not hurt my body, because I also had a time where I had tendonitis, and
wow.
And that was the best thing that happened to me in some ways, because till that time, I always, like every drummer, I thought that I really needed to practice, because if I don't play for 2 weeks, I don't sit in the drums, oh man, I'm going to lose my touch, or I'm going to lose my, and that's the thing, that attachment to a certain thing that you can do, that you practice at home or that you've been doing. Then what happened is that I fucked my arms so hard, excuse my language, I fucked that basically this Chinese doctor I went, he told me, you need to stop now. But then I said, but when can I play again? And then he said, oh, you should start playing as soon as you can. Don't wait for a long time, because then, but first just, use hot water to kill the pain and relax that. In maybe 1 or 2 months, you should start playing immediately, but only play things that are very easy and that feel really good. It's like whenever anybody has an injury, has to go to a gimnasio, just for rehabilitation exercises, which are very slow, nice exercises to make your muscles. And every day you do a little more, no?
Yeah.
But never forcing. So he says, you should use music to cure yourself, I know it sounds kind of new age.
Yeah,
but it's true,
It's true. It's for me, it's just play music with and you have to contribute. Don't try to be more than that, and
exactly,
and try to force than that.
Exactly. Just play the music.
Yeah, maybe that is the reason that some people could have a tendonitis. He's trying to be more than he can do. That's
exactly.
It's a challenge, of course. We know that, but sometimes could hurt.
Yes, so exactly. It's so simple but so true. And it's like you're trying to, or also just trying to force things. Just to force some moment. when you, that's why I think practicing in that sense, of like building certain vocabulary, certain things, and thinking that if you don't play them frequently, you're going to forget them. That paranoia is like, man.
Yeah.
Fortunately, I don't forget the same. I always play the same shit anyway. I don't need to practice.
But it's a very good shit, man. Very good one. It's a very good one.
No, but you know what? I remember when I was with this thing, because I felt like I really needed to cure myself, because I used to think that, I need to play something new or something original or something special, because if not, it is boring. So I was so hard on myself, and these things create tension, And then when I had the tendonitis, it was the opposite. It's like, okay, man, I know that I've seen Billy Higgins several times live, and I had an incredible time. He sounded beautiful, incredible, and it sounded so fresh. He had this smile. He was so happy. Have you seen Billy Higgins live? Did you see him?
No, I never see. I saw just heard him a lot.
So just check out some videos. He's there. He's just in bliss, and everything sounds so fresh. But then when I was walking home after the live gig, I was like, man, tonight he didn't play one phrase that I haven't heard in records that he recorded 30 years ago.
Yeah.
And still sounded like he just made it up with that freshness, It's still so alive and full. So that's going to be my example, at least now while I cure, I don't need to play anything new. I just need to play what makes me feel like that, what makes me feel like smiling, because that's the thing. He knows the music so well that he knows that those little things that he's doing, he knows that they are taking care of business. And with such a feel and such a love of delivery that shit is just pure magic, man. You don't need to do anything else. It's what you say. You just play the music and don't try to do more. The music will get it out of your body.
Yeah.
It just happens by itself.
Yeah, but it's too. I don't know the word for me. Is sabedoria. It's that you have to have a lot of acknowledgement to thinking about that. It's so secure for the people.
Of course, but on the other hand, we all know, you knew it. I didn't have to tell you. You told me.
Yeah,
and we all. It's just that I think society puts this pressure on us. This. I'm sorry, but this American dream bullshit. If you desire something a lot and you work and you sacrifice a lot, someday you will get there. Well, that's bullshit. We know that the people who has money is because their dad had money most of the time, and the people who plays like magic is because they have that magic, but at the same time, everybody can play some beautiful stuff. If you connect with that, you find something that you love.
Yeah.
You don't need to do, man, Joao Gilberto can rock 10,000 people playing medium soft bossa nova with the same guitar pattern for 2 hours. And nobody, everybody's as far as away from being bored as possible. Everybody is just elevated to a magic realm just with that. So, that's for me, those are my models, at least in that moment. And then I realized that if I build from there, then because this happened in '94, imagine, the first record with Warner Brothers, with a trio with Larry and Brad is '95.
Wow.
I was just recovering from that tendonitis.
Wow. That was the question that I should do to you. It was before the first recording. We are not on tour when you have that tendonitis.
No. That was actually 1 year after that recording with my brother and Brad, when I Fall in Love, that one for Fresh Sound. That was '93.
Okay.
So, and this happened in '94. And then during the whole year of '94, it happened. I was like just recovering, playing very little, for the whole year. And then in '95, in May of '95, is when we recorded with Brad, I think. And no, maybe a little before. I don't remember exactly, but it was '95. So I was, still in very much this minimalistic thing. And it's interesting now because when I hear some of the recordings that we did with Brad years later, when, he would play us these long solos and it would be like a big build, And sometimes I do play a lot of stuff, but it will always happen organically because it was always Brad would get it out of me, and it's just the thing. It happened. Yeah. Now sometimes I see young players that transcribe some of my solos. And I'm amazed, man. First, I wouldn't be able to transcribe it, and if somebody gives me the paper, in 10,000 years, I would never be able to play that shit. That just happened in that moment, man. I had no control. I don't own that. That happened.
I don't know. I don't know from I think it was from the Art of Trio 3 that you played Unrequited. The song and that feel of the drums is something magical. That way that you guys build the solo and the whole the song, that is magical. I'm prepared to ask you to play a little of that part, but I know that you are in your apartment and it's too late. But when you play that, I saw that you changed the sticks and sometimes play with the hands. We're just trying the sound. Was that?
Yeah. Well, it's interesting when you tell me about that. I hope not to talk too much, but for me, something I want to say because it's important for me, especially since you mentioned that tune. I always love Brazilian music, always deeply. For everything, your composers and melodies and harmony, but also the rhythm and the drummers. And I have to say, the first time I went to Brazil, I was with Paquito de Rivera, and this was in 90, I think. No, 91. 91? No, maybe. No, 92. Sorry, 92 probably. Yeah, because was with already at Simon. 91 or 92. Anyway, first time I went to Sao Paulo.
To Sao Paulo. You remember if you did a show, sharing the show with a Brazilian singer, Leni Andrade?
Of course. How could I forget? And Cesar was playing drums.
Man, I was there. I went to this show.
Oh, man.
In Memorial da América Latina. I remember that, man.
Wow. When I listen to some of those songs, because I have recording, I fall in love with Leni Andrade's music that night. I didn't know it, and those tunes still bring tears to my eyes, man. And Cesar, was the drummer. That's his.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Adriano Oliveira.
No, Cesar. Adriano. I knew it was I was thinking Adriano Oliveira. Of course, Adriano Oliveira. Yeah.
Adriano. He was a master playing with the brush. He was.
I love him, man. I love him. I'm sorry, I made me confused, and I thought of another Roman name instead of Adriano, another emperor. No. But I knew it was like the name. He was so amazing, man. I love him so much. He reminded me of Billy Hart, but in Brazilian stuff.
Yeah,
I love him, man. And so anyway, it was funny because I was so intimidated because with Paquito we had to play a little bit of everything, and sometimes we would play some Brazilian tunes, And I remember just hearing. I remember I met some young drummers. Now I don't remember their names, but they came to the sound check, and I could tell we started playing, and when we played some samba, I could tell that they were very unimpressed. They were kind of. Okay, this is like a bad imitation of Portinho, bad imitation of something that we consider. No, honestly, and I know that's what's happening, But in the other hand, they probably like my straight ahead playing or other aspects, but that was underwhelming for them, to use a nice word.
Well, something. Okay, please.
Yeah. No. Anyway, so I see, and I knew, and it's normal. And because another funny story is that I took 2 lessons with Portinho, who I totally love too, And both lessons was the whole hour was the same. Like, Portinho is like, Jorge, te toca corcheas en la caja, You just play some eighth notes in the snare for me, And I just try to do, my Brazilian eighth notes. I'm not even gonna try to do it now. So, no danger. I'm not gonna try. And I would try for about like 10 seconds, and he was like, no. Listen, and then he would play it, and it sounded amazing.
Oh man!
I know. And then I kept trying, and I never got it. So, which is okay, but I still love it, And it's like when I heard you, or when I hear Paulinho, and any great Brazilian drummers, or Kiko Freitas, or
Ooh,
or anybody,
ooh,
they are all
oh,
these bad motherfuckers, man. Besides,
yeah,
each one of you is different and has your own world, but all of you guys, like, have something about the way you subdivide these eight notes that is just, it just fucking hits me just right here, man. But
yeah.
anyway,
Oh,
for me, what was very beautiful is that, after that, I didn't go to Brazil for many years.
mm-hmm,
And then we, during that time, we developed this type of playing with Brad, and with
mm-hmm,
Brad, besides playing, like the 3/4 stuff and the swing stuff, and that sometimes tunes like Can't Requite It,
yeah.
uh, is this kind of even eight thing, that so I didn't want to, I know it wasn't supposed to be Brazilian, but for me, I'm thinking, of course, I'm trying to capture what I love of that. And knowing that, because I cannot really do the real thing, but I do my thing,
Man,
and it works for that music.
but that was beautiful, and I love that. For me, that is the accent. Also, it's the same of the accent of the speaking. You
Mm.
know,
Yeah.
when you play something when I play something for your region, or
Mhm.
when I try to play straight
Mhm.
ahead or something, we have a different accent. It's the same accent that I'm trying to talk
Yeah.
with you in English, but
Yeah.
that is the magic for the music. We are trying to communicate, and
Great.
of course, that there is a right way to play or
Yeah.
right accent, but we are
Yeah.
communicating. That is beautiful. That is so. I don't know, but it's adventure. It's
Yeah. Yeah.
we
Yeah.
have to communicate, and that recording in one requited for me is one of my best record that I want to hear. When
Oh.
my son was born, my son
Oh.
today is a bass player, but I
Wow.
remember that I put that recording for him all the time. You have to listen that. But he didn't he
Oh.
didn't speak, he didn't talk, but
But
he
it
was
got in
listening.
his soul, no? It gets in
Yeah,
his soul. Yeah.
yeah,
No, that's
yeah.
beautiful. But that's for me. I remember playing in Sao Paulo with Brad many years later, and playing a Toninho Horta song and being a little bit scared, but kind of curious. And then I realized that people like it then,
Oh,
and then
of course.
many Brazilian drummers like you, that they like that, and then it made me feel so good. It's like I'm in
I, I, re-
peace.
I remember that what was in São Paulo in Jockey Club.
Yeah,
I played before you.
yeah, that was that
You
night. Yeah,
Yeah, and you played Viver de Amor. Pé, do,
exacto,
te, to, te, to,
exactly.
te, po, po. That's a beautiful song. Do you know
Oh
that
man,
do you know
I
that
love
recording?
Toninho.
And do you know that first recording from Toninho, his first album is, what is the name of this album? Toninho Horta e Orquestra Fantasma. That is amazing album. That he's an amazing musician, man.
I love
Hey,
him. I love his compositions. Yeah.
George, we have a lot of questions here. We have.
Okay,
I will
shoot.
heard. Yeah, I'm a little dark here.
It's
Silvio, just a
okay.
minute. Tem
Oh,
um pouquinho de luz aqui? Não, né? Okay, I will try some light here. And
okay.
Jorge, we have a lot of questions here. Paulo Almeida, drummer, says
Oh,
Jorge is one of the greatest master of music. Thank you for your music, George. I
oh
say the
man.
same.
Yeah, no. I say the same about Paulinho and Media, man. This new generation is made me feel, I like this phrase, happily obsolete. Felizmente obsoleto.
Happily obsolete. That's amazing, man. That's amazing.
That's how Paulinho makes me feel.
Can I use that? Can I use the
Oh,
expression?
anytime.
I use that. I use that definitely.
Yeah.
and Joan Terol Amigo.
Joan Terol Amigo, another amazing drummer. Okay, now you have more light.
Oh, I
Let
have
there
my
be
light.
light. Yeah, Joan
Obrigado,
Terol,
obrigado.
another one, man. Yeah, incredible
Oh, Juan
Catalan
Terol.
drummer.
Thank you for being here. He's from Catalonia.
Yeah, but he was living in Amsterdam for a long time, and now he's in Berlin, and he's an incredible player too.
Oh,
Yeah.
great. And Ignacy Lovet Roca. Hi from Barcelona.
Ignacy Llobet Roca.
Yeah,
Yeah, sounds familiar,
Llovet.
but I'm not sure we've met so much. Hello, Ignacy. Gracias por estar por aquí.
Barcelona. I used to go to Barcelona to play in that club that was in the basement.
Jamboree.
Jamboree. That was a nice club. I love
Yeah,
that.
it is very nice. Yeah.
Yeah. And Neil Logan, how George was my favorite drummer with Brad Mehldau's trio. Love Art of the Trio 4 in special.
Great.
Yeah. And
Thank you.
the same Neil, I'd like to ask George if he still records all his gigs. I remember him saying that many years ago with Brad. He used to record everything.
That's really funny, because I always get that, because there is this documentary for a very beautiful documentary they did about Brad and about the trio.
I
And
remember.
in that particular gig, yeah, we were at the back of the Village Vanguard in the kitchen, area. And then is when the interview. And then I'm saying that because it is true that during 2 weeks, I was recording every gig.
Wow. And did you start that after that?
Yeah, but just during 2 weeks, And after 2 weeks, I was like, man, I'm getting sick of hearing myself every night. I cannot do this shit. This sucks. And Brad told me, Jorge, you're overanalyzing the stuff. Just chill. I never did it again. So people, this was nearly 30 years ago. So yeah, I did it during 2 weeks.
You have 2 weeks recorded gigs from Village Vanguard. That's good.
No. For it was in Europe. No, when we came to the Vanguard, I think I already wasn't doing it because they were recording for a record there, so that was being recorded anyway. But it wasn't me.
I'm not sure if Jack DeJohnette used to do that, but I remember in that videos from Kate Jarrett Trio that before the gig, Jack DeJohnette put some tape recorder to record the gig. Wow. and went to the drum set. And wow. I sometimes Japan is a crazy country. I went to Japan, and every time that I went to Japan, I brought something different and some different recorders, some different. And I used to record the same 3 or 4 gigs, but I can't listen that all the time. It's too much time. I prefer be back to play one more time.
Yeah. And imagine if you record every time that you make love to your girlfriend. And then you watch it every time. It's not going to happen. It's just at the end. It's just you don't need to.
Yeah, we can't do the same thing that we did at the first time. You have to repeat that. It's not going to work. Never.
It's not going to help. It doesn't help.
Yeah.
Keep it fresh, baby.
Yeah, and Fingerfoot Music says, hello from Texas.
Okay.
And Laura Saraiva says, hi from Brazil, everyone.
Oh, beautiful.
German Bocco, professor de bateria. Algo em espanhol? Papa, podemos hablar un poquitito en español para el German Bocco, profesor de batería.
Hombre, Germán, que claro que sí, sin problema. Podemos hablar en español. Hay un montón de hispanoparlantes y me encanta hablar en español y en català també. I jo falo português muito mal, pero...
I remember that day in Brazil, that you played with Brad. I remember that you didn't check the sound. I think the flight was delayed, and you came directly to the stage. And my English now is a bad English, but you can imagine 20 years after ago was nothing. And I remember that I went to talk with you, and you said, if you speak Portuguese very, very slow, I can understand. And that was so gentle from you.
Oh, no. Yo quería aprender, aún no había perdido la esperanza de aprender português.
A esperança convive com a gente sempre.
Es lo último que se pierde. No sabía esta expresión, ¿eh? Es lo último que se pierde. Convive con gente siempre. Muy bien.
Sí. El baterista says, my grandfather and uncle's names were Hipólito.
Oh, okay.
And I am a third generation drummer who plays guitar, bass, but drummers first. Use it to carry my dad's gear.
Okay.
Great. But you have a grandfather, Hipólito, too, no?
Exacto, sí, mi abuelo Hipólito, violinista y
Yeah,
musicólogo.
great. Wow, we have a lot of questions here, man.
Okay.
People from all the world. Paulo Almeida says, yes, George, beautiful words. And baterista says, every Brazilian musician I have played with, they use a stride, okay, span, I'll play some kind of percussion, and I'll sing.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
true.
yeah, it's true. And
Yeah.
Stefania Chamorro Padilha, I know that she's from Barcelona too.
Oh,
Saludos.
yeah, Steffi, yeah, claro que sí.
Edu and George, such a pleasure to be together. One more
Yeah,
pleasure.
Estefanía. It's a
Baterista
pleasure.
Efrain Toro, to Grandmaster Anthony Michael, Mia, hi everyone.
Wow.
Herman, one more time, ¿puedes contar
Germán,
algo?
otra vez español.
Otra vez español, sí, ya hablamos un poquitito.
Ok. Sí, hablamos un
Agora,
poquito en español.
agora sim, German Boco, professor, sobre tu baterista influência em Espanha. And it's a good question. What is your influence from drummers in Spain?
Sí, bueno, podría decir, el que más me influyó, porque fue mi profesor cuando yo tenía 17 años, es Aldo Caviglia, que es un Aldo Caviglia. Es un baterista uruguayo, pero que vivió en España muchos años y es, bueno, enamorado de Philly Joe y Elvin y Tony Williams y de la tradición, ¿no? Y fue mi profesor. Yo tengo su postura, de la forma que yo me siento a la batería y toco es la de Aldo, ¿no? Y de hecho toco con él en España a veces, cuando toco vibráfono, tengo un grupo con él, con Santi de la Rubia también,
Sí.
Y con Marc Cuevas al bajo, y tenemos un cuarteto, y Aldo es una gran influencia para mí y para muchísimos baterías de mi generación, ¿no? Luego, pues, David Shirgu, grandísimo amigo, grandísimo baterista, pero antes, por una cosa que has dicho antes, ¿no? He de hablar de Per Wiboris también, un batería de Berlín, que era el batería de Tete Montoliu. Y cuando yo estaba tocando trompeta, una noche toqué con él, y era de las primeras veces que tocaba con él, y me hizo sonar 10.000 veces mejor de lo que yo había sonado nunca.
Qué bien.
Y eso para mí fue una lección, porque era alguien que tocaba muy simple, ¿no? Y que yo siempre me había gustado cómo tocaba, pero no lo tenía quizá como un modelo de alguien a seguir, porque yo era muy joven y me gustaban baterías más espectaculares, ¿no? Y alguien que tocara tan simple no me llamaba la atención. Pero cuando toqué con él me di cuenta de el efecto de lo que él hacía en la música, ¿no? Y pensé, uy, si yo puedo hacer lo que él hace, seguro que voy a tener muchos bolos.
Qué bien, qué bien.
So, yeah.
Aquí tiene Juan Camilo, gracias maestro. The MEA did a very good question. Any exercise to start working on hearing harmony charts on the piano for a drummer?
Okay. Well, I think just listen to the music you love, you know. It doesn't matter. I don't think you need to know the names of the chords. You know, another thing is that if you really love and you get to play the piano and start learning songs, and you will get familiar with them because you will see them every day, just like an old friend, you know.
Yeah.
Of course, you learn the name, you learn how they are, you know. So I don't believe in this need to really practice and put a big effort to try to memorize and accumulate like that. That's very much like, you know, yo lo quiero todo, me lo quiero comprar, no? It's like consumismo. You know, no. I believe more in that, man, if you love something...
You have to conquist that.
See, don't worry, you don't need so much, you know, like people like Charlie Parker, I think they learned how to play a lot with a few records because it was hard to get so much, you know.
Yeah.
And so now you get in internet and you have just so much music, man. Just choose a few things you love and just do them and just play songs. And that way you will have the chords, but you also have the melody and the rhythm and the lyrics and the feeling. Because music is the whole package, you know.
Yeah. And Steffi Chamorro Padilha has a question. I have a question. I have been listening on this song you recorded with Joe Smith Throw, And I want to ask you, how do you face the situation of playing with another drummer?
Oh, great question. Yeah, well, again, for me, it's just like playing with another musician, it's true that sometimes we're in the same role, but sometimes, okay, yeah, that's the question. Okay, it's maybe the only difference is that as a drummer, I feel that what I do is to put a very clear pulse on the band, and I have like a lot of freedom to choose what I do it because other instruments don't have an attack that is quite as definite as the drums, even, and also even if they had it, but, they are playing melodies, they are phrasing, the role is not to keep the pulse. They can do it sometimes, but it's not their obligation, I feel as a drummer, that's my role, even if the pulse is like a free and open, in an open rubato tune, still pulse, that's my choice. So that role, if there is another person playing drums too, which has the same kind of power of attack and definition, then of course I need to pay a lot of attention to how he's doing it. And at the same time, to try to not let that attention distract me from where I think it is and what I hear, and try to put that with a lot of clarity. It's very magical, no? Because in the sense that you have to do two things that seem to be opposite. One is to be extremely flexible to adapt to what you're reading, that is the center of the groove of the other drummer, But at the same time, you have to be very confident and very in touch with your own inner pulse to make sure that you can put that with such traction and such definition that the other drummer is going to be very easy for him to follow it too, So you're following and leading at the same time,
Great, man, great. And Jorge, I'm recording. I have to be back to record one more track. People are waiting me, but I will just I will just read one more. People, please. I'm sorry for that. I can read every comments that you are so famous, man. There is a lot of comments here. Oh man, but Tundra says. Saludos desde La Rioja is the last one there.
Saludos desde La Rioja.
Saludos desde La Rioja, España. Que cuente que lo te dijo Chet Baker una vez. Que tell us what Chet Baker says to you one time.
Oh, yeah. This is a long story. I try to make it short because you have a recording. And Vinicius is waiting.
Yeah.
No. Well, anyway, this is an unforgettable story because this is like one of my first, for me, it's unforgettable because it was maybe my first real jazz gig with somebody, Dave Snider, who was somebody who was playing with our Blakey and the Jazz Messengers. And I was 19 years old, and he just called me the day before. Can you do a gig? I guess just to sub for somebody, So, I was 19, I was super excited to go. And then when I arrived to the airport in Barcelona, suddenly in the check-in, I see Chet Baker. And it's like, holy shit. And that's Chet Baker, So we flew to Sevilla, and then from Sevilla we had a bus, right, that would take us for 1 hour driving from Sevilla to Cádiz, where the concert was, in the festival in Cádiz. And I was playing first, and Chet Baker was playing after. But then I found out when we got into the same bus, and it's like, oh, Chet Baker is getting in the same bus that I'm getting, It wasn't a public bus. It was a bus just for the two bands,
Yeah.
So it's like, oh my God, okay. Then, somebody told me, no, Chet Baker is playing after we play. I say, oh, wow, that's wonderful. Anyway, so I'm there sitting in the bus, and then suddenly I see that Chet Baker comes where I'm sitting, and he says like, hey, is that a flugelhorn? And I had a flugelhorn because that time I was also playing trumpet, and I was in love with the flugelhorn, and I was always carrying it with me. And I said, yeah. And he said like, oh, can I use it for the concert? Because somebody stole my trumpet in Italy. And I said, of course, I will be honored that you play my flugelhorn, of course. But I was a little cheeky, I said, but, could I get a little lesson just from you in exchange?
Of course.
And he said, Yeah, sure. I'll give it to you in a few minutes, So he still went back to the front of the bus. And after a little while, he came back because it was like one of these school buses, no, for many kids, And then he put himself in the seat in front of me, kind of like that, sitting on top of the seat.
Yeah.
And he said, "Okay, Jorge, here's your lesson. Whenever you play, just make sure that you make a beautiful sound, that the sound itself is beautiful, because any note that you play, doesn't matter the note. If it's with an ugly sound, it's going to sound ugly.
Yeah.
But if the sound is beautiful, doesn't matter what you play, it's going to sound beautiful, and everything else will work out itself, Wow. If you make sure that the sound is beautiful, everything else will just come. You don't have to worry.
Wow.
But if the sound is not good, imagine. And
that's
that
a great
was it.
lesson.
And he just left. That was it.
That's enough. That's a beautiful lesson. It's a great.
And because it's so short, it's unforgettable,
Yeah.
It's just so short, but it's so deep, because, of course, how do you define beauty? Beauty sometimes is very soft, sometimes it's very loud, sometimes it's very funny. So, but beauty is something that moves you. So I think when he's saying, make sure it's beautiful, I think is the same as saying, make sure that it's something that moves you, that is something that you feel.
Yeah.
And
you
that's,
believe and you feel.
You believe in it, exactly.
Yeah. Great.
Then, of course, everything is going to come by itself, because you are talking about something you love, and you feel confident because you love it, So nobody can talk about your love better than yourself.
Yeah.
So but he didn't say all these things. All these things are implications of his 20 seconds. That's the beauty of it. The lesson keeps unfolding. Yeah. That's some deep wisdom.
That's the deepest lesson. Just keep for all the life. Hey, brother.
Yeah.
Jorge, thank you for being here, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We need one more, two more, or three more from this to talk everything that you have to share. Thank you for sharing your time. Thank you for being here. And
thanks for putting this together, man. It's a beautiful initiative, because it's so beautiful to see so many friends connected and to share what we love. This is a beautiful thing that you're doing, Edu. Besides your amazing playing, this is so generous and a beautiful thing to do, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
And my love to all these friends.
Thank you for being here. Thank you, Rachel from Open Studio. This program is sponsored by openstudiojazz.com. And see you in the next Wednesday. We don't have, but the Wednesday before the next Wednesday, we're going to be here one more time. Okay?
Gracias a todos y a todas. Moltes gràcies a tots i a totes. Obrigadinho. Muito obrigado.
I hope I can see you in person very soon.
Me too. Yeah.
Stay safe and healthy.
Yeah, you too. Tchau.
Tchau, abraço.
Tchau. Abraço muito grande.
Tchau, abraço grande.